as somebody that's not from a marketing background and has worked in finance, banking mainly, and then accountancy at the beginning, and more recently paddling my own boat, the only thing you've really got to look at is what, when you first start out paddling your own or running your own business, you look at competitors. And so if you look at accountants' websites, you think, and the way that they do things generally, you think, well, that's obviously how it's done, but it's not how it should be done. So it's been a really interesting experience to understand the customers, the buyers, the clients' experience of really what they're interested in. They're not so interested in you. It's understanding that concept of everybody has a particular need, and there's an emotional, I suppose there can be an emotional response behind that. And you're not trying to service everybody, which I wasn't trying to do anyway. It's understanding what that need and then being able to demonstrate that you've got some value to help them with that need. We've done and spent a lot of time doing is understanding that whole psychology, the buyer's psychology, I suppose. I think it's also made me think, and I had been doing some thinking about it anyway, because I had started to work with Patrick before this course, but to think really carefully about who your ideal client is. You know, who do I really want to work with, rather than just working with anybody? Because I can work with anybody if I wanted to, but that's not really going to carry me through the next 5 years or 10 years from an interest perspective. And when you're working for yourself, it's easy to lose sight of that. I think sometimes just be very driven by revenue, and that can start to be a grind. I think that Patrick really cared about our success. I don't think you can, in terms of style, I don't think you can't fake that. And Patrick's definitely the sort of person that I relate to. There are other people out there that I would suppose perhaps I would call a bit more traditionally salesy, and you can feel that they're trying to push something on you. But I liked Patrick's open style, and the things that he was saying seemed very sensible to me. You know, once it was sort of explained to you, you think, yeah, that is the way. For example, as a consumer, I consume other things. I think that explanation resonates with me. That's exactly the sort of process that I go through. I think the bit that resonated with me perhaps the most is trying to understand where the client's coming from, which is really easy to forget, so that everybody in business has problems. You know, you could say to anybody, what are your top 3 problems that you'd like to be fixed? So if you can talk directly to that client, for example, if it's on your website and you're being very clear about that's the type of client I want to work with, and they're the types of problems that I think I can help them with. Understanding that when somebody reads that or sees that, it's going to make a real emotional connection with them. I thought it was a 10. I mean, because if you don't give it 10, you have to think, well, what more? There's something immediately in the back of your mind. It's just a gut feeling, isn't it? That, well, to make it a 10, I would have done this and that. And there's nothing that's jumping out at me when I came off the course